guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Ebereka. Guys, thank you so much for all your support, all your good comments, all the good prayers. Thank you so much. God bless you all. Please, if you're new to my channel, you're welcome to my channel. Please, if you've not subscribed, please subscribe and click the notification bell so that whenever I upload new video, you'll be notified. Today I'll be answering one of your requests, which is how to make 6 pieces gown without join on the half length. So this is the fabric I'm going to use today. It's a 6 years of African print. I folded my fabric, and this side is by 45 and this side is 6 years. You can see this is the selvage. So I folded it this way so that I will get the length that I want. So, and how many inches that you fold depends on how full you want it on the lower part here. How full you want it, the A-line allowance here, how full you want it. So I folded 10 inches. So this is guideline. My length is 60. My length is 59 plus 1 inch seam allowance is 60. So I'll start from here. This is guideline, this shoulder line to 10 inches is my bust point, plus half inch seam allowance is 10 and half. My underbust is a 14 plus half inch seam allowance to join is 14 and half. My half length is 17. Then my knee length is 38. Is 2 inches above my knee. Is 38 from the shoulder. And the length of the dress is 59 plus 1 inch seam allowance is 60. So now I'm going to get my bust span measurement. My bust span measurement is nipple to nipple measurement is 9 inches plus 1 inch seam allowance is 10 divided by 2 because it's on fold is 5. So my bust span is 9 inches. 9 inches divided by 2 because it's on fold is 4 and half plus half inch seam allowance is 5 inches. So I'll mark 5 inches here. I'll mark 5 inches from the shoulder to my knee length. But it's not actually my knee length because it's 2 inches before my knee so that I can walk freely. So this is starting point. Guideline is the shoulder line. From this line to this one is 10.5 inches. Is my bust point. My bust point is from shoulder to my bust point is 10 inches plus half inch seam allowance to join it to the upper part here is 10.5. So this line is 10.5, and this line is my underbust. From my shoulder to underbust is 14 inches plus half inch to join it is 14.5, and this one is 17 inches my waistline. So and this one is my knee length, 2 inches or 2 to 3 inches above your knee. So this one is 38 inches. So now I'm going to mark the dart. I'll mark 1 inch on this side. On the bust point, I will not mark any dart there, but on the underbust, I'll mark 1 inch or 1.5. 1 inch, if you want, you can mark 1 inch, it's still okay. But if you really want to pad it very well, you mark 1.5. So I'm going to mark 1.5. You can also mark 1/4, 1.25. But I'm going to mark 1.5, which is 1.5. So on the waistline, if you have flat tummy, you can mark 1.5 also on your waistline and also on the knee length. But I'll mark 1 inch here. For somebody that have tummy, big tummy, I'll mark 1 inch on this line, waistline. I'll mark 1 inch also on the knee length also. So I will now connect it. I'll connect it. On this side, I'll come up by 1/2 inch. So this one, I'll hold it like this. Then this is the waistline. You will curve this side so that it will not be sharp under bust here and also here. So from this edge to this line is 5 inches, half of my bust span measurements plus a 1/2 inch seam allowance. So on the shoulder here, I marked 1 inch. On the underbust, I marked 1.5. On the waistline, I marked 1 inch. On the knee length, I marked 1 inch also. So here I came up by 1/2 inch and connected it from this point from shoulder line to this point. Then from the underbust, I connected it to this 1 inch on the waistline, and from this waistline, I connected it to the 1 inch on the knee length here. So from here, I will now connect it to the hem side, the lower side. This is the length of the dress. So from this one, from here, I'll connect it to this hem side. Okay, I want to cut it now, but I'll go through the lower part with you. This is the knee length. So from this knee length, this 1 inch here on the knee length, I connected it to the hem side, to the length of the gown here. So I connected it like this. So I'm going to cut it now. And remember, I folded 10 inches. 10 inches on fold is 20 inches. Okay, and this one is the center front. I'll use it, I'll fold another fabric and use it to cut the side one. So I'm cutting it. So I'll cut this guideline. This one I'll cut it off. So now this is the center one. I'm going to fold another fabric to put this one on top to cut the two side one. So I've folded another fabric to cut the side one, because after cutting this center front, the remaining fabric will not be enough for me to cut the two sides. So, but it can only be enough for me to cut only one side. Then I'll look for another fabric to cut the remaining side. So, but I don't want it like that. I want to use this one. It will be enough for me to cut the center back one. So I will leave this one. I will use it to cut the center one. So I folded another fabric. You know, this one is length 60. So I folded another length 60, but this time I folded it into two. This side is 45 into two, so it should be like maybe 22 and a half or so from this edge to this point. So I'm going to cut the side one, but I'm going to put this one on top of it. You can see this side will be on this side. So I'm going to put it like this. So I've marked my starting point. I'll pin it. So I want to take the measurements. So I've pinned the fabric. I have a starting line here. So, and this line is underbrows, but I don't need it. I just marked the line. And this one is half length. I need it. And this is the knee length, 2 inches above my knee, and 60 inches from the shoulder to the end, to this point is 60 inches is the length of the gown. So on this side, as you can see, I'll check what I have on this one. Then I'll now take the measurement. So what I have here, this is the shoulder. This is the shoulder. What I have here is 4 inches. So that 4 inches, I'll put it here. I'll put the 4 inches here. Then I'll take my measurements. My shoulder is 16. 16 divided by 2 is 8. So 8 is here. Plus 2 inches seam allowance. So here, I'll mark half of my round armhole here. My round armhole is 18. 18 divided by 2 is 9. Is 9. So now I'll take the measurement. So here I'll check what I have here. I have 5 inches. So I'll put it here also on this side, the 5 inches. I will now take my bust measurements, because this is my chest line. My bust is 46. 46 divided by 4 is 11 and a half. So this is 11 and a half here. Plus 3 inches seam allowance. So this is my waistline. I'll check what I have there. I have 4 inches. So I'll put it here, the 4 inches, I'll put it here, on the edge here. So my waist is 40. 40 divided by 4 is 10. So I'll mark 10 here. Plus 3 inches seam allowance. So this is my hip line. From my shoulder to my hip line is 24 inches. So my hip measurement is 46. 46 divided by 4 is 11 and a half. So I'll check what I have here. 4 inches I'll put it on the edge here. So my hip is 46 divided by 4 is 11 and a half. I'll mark 11 and a half here, plus 3 inches seam allowance. So this one is my knee length. So on my knee length, I'll minus 1 inch from my hip. So here I marked, you can minus 1 inch, you can minus 1.5 inch, depends on how you want it, how curved you want it there. So I'll minus 1 inch. So 11 and a half minus, okay, here I have I'll shape what I have here. I have 4 inches. I'll put it like this. Then 11 and a half minus 1 inch is 10 and a half. So I will mark 10 and a half here. Plus 3 inches seam allowance. Okay. So I'll connect it. This is my chest line. My bust measurement, I connected it to my waist measurement. From my waist measurement, I connected it to my hip measurement. Then I now used a straight ruler to connect it to the knee to my knee measurement. So now I want to, here is my shoulder. I want to put curve my armhole. So I'll just put this like this. I'm going to connect the lower part. So, but here I'll cut it like this for now. But after joining, I'll reshape my armhole. So, and after joining, I'll cut my neckline, shoulder slant, then reshape my front armhole. So now I will do the lower part. So this is my knee measurements. So I'll use this to connect it to this 20 inches, or I'll connect it to this side 20 inches or more. But it mustn't be 20 inches, it depends on how full you want it. So but because mine is 20 inches, 10 inches of foot for this one, then the side one side will be 20 inches or more and the other side will be 20 inches or more. So I'll connect it to here. And this is the 20 inches line, but I'll connect it here. It's still okay. Okay, I'm going to cut it now. So this is my knee measurements, and remember I minus 1 from my hip measurements. My hip measurement, I minus 1 here on my knee measurement, I minus 1. So I connected it from this seam allowance, my knee measurement, to this point. But this side, this is 20 inches, but because I have more, that's why I connected it to the edge here. So I think I have about 22 inches here, but this one is 20 inches. So I'm going to cut it now. I pinned it. So I'm going to use 5 yards to cut the body, because I'll still use another 60 inches like unfold like this to cut the side back. Then the remaining one from this center one, I'll use it to cut center back. So to cut the dress, the gown, I'll use 5 yards. Then if you want sleeveless, 5 yards is enough. If you want small sleeve, like a small sleeve like this, 5 yards is enough, because even this one can make sleeve. You can use this one for sleeve, the pieces that are cut off here, all these pieces. Then, but if you want bigger sleeve, then from the remaining 1 yard, because it's 6 yards, you can cut your sleeve from that one. So why I said 5 yards, because you know, is a 60. I've used 60, the first 60 inches when I cut the center front, and this is the second 60 inches, and I'm going to use another 60 inches to cut the 2 side back. So 60 times 3 is 180. 180 divided by 36, because 1 yard is 36, is 5. 180 divided by 36 is 5, so 5 years. So I'm cutting it now. Cutting this side, make sure you cut the same, because this side is very important. Is nipple to nipple measurement. This side is here, so it's very important. Make sure you cut the same. You can see this one will be enough for sleeve, at least for one sleeve, if you're using small sleeve. So this is what we'll have. I will remove the pins and show you. So this is what we have. So this is the center one, the center front. You can see this from here to this side is 20 inches. Remember, it was on fold 10 inches. So this one is center one, and this one is side, one of the side one. And this one is the other side one. So what you do is just to use this one to cut your wording. If you want, you can put the wording on fold like this and cut it from 6 inches to your underbones to cut your wording. Use this to cut 2 wording. Then you will divide one for the side, for the 2 side one, and use one for this one. Or you can even put it like this on top of the wording. can even put it like this, mark 6 inches, then to underbust maybe a little bit further down, but underbust to underbust is okay, and cut your wording. So cut the shape, cut two wording with this one, then one for this one, and one you cut one into two in the middle for these two. Please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Please, if you're new to my channel, please subscribe and give this video a thumb up.